everyone. Now we will again resume with the 21st question of the October-November 2025 paper. So we had stopped on the 20th question and now we go on the 21st question. So the 21st question says, the diagram shows an experiment using 2 wheat shoots. Which statement is supported by the evidence provided in the experiment? You can see 2 shoots, in one of them in Y, the tip is removed. So after 2 days of light falling on them, the shoot X grows because auxin is present and auxin helps in apical growth. So auxin is present here and auxin is absent. So auxin is absent, so this shoot does not grow because the tip is cut and auxin is present at the tip. So the correct answer will the correct answer is auxin is made at the shoot tip. Next question. Which action would help to limit the development of antibiotic resistance in bacteria? Okay, so we should use antibiotics only to treat bacterial infections. Otherwise, the bacteria will become resistant to the antibiotics used. So the answer would be use antibiotics only to treat bacterial infections. Question number 23. What is the example of asexual reproduction? You know that asexual reproduction produces clones. So a single bacteria dividing to produce 2 genetically identical bacteria will be the correct answer. So if you get your correct answer in the first option itself, there is no need to waste time to read the next answers. Next question 24, the diagram shows parts of 2 different plants, 1 and 2, and you need to tell which arrows show cross-pollination. So you know that here cross-pollination is transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of another flower on another plant. So this is another flower. Okay, and plant is different. So cross-pollination, as you can see, is shown only by P. Answer is going to be A. Next question 25. Which substance is a hormone that is involved in the development and regulation of male secondary sexual characteristics? Male secondary sexual characteristics, and you know the answer is testosterone. Testosterone helps in the development of male secondary sexual characteristics. Question number 26. Which statement describes the net direction movement of a substance across the placenta? So we know that placenta is a common organ between the fetus and the mother, and it controls all the movement of, it directs the movement of useful substances into the fetus and harmful substances out of the fetus body. So it prevents the blood of mother and fetus coming in direct contact, because mother's blood is at great pressure and that will destroy the fetus. So here the best possible answer would be urea is the waste product. So urea moves out of the fetus's blood into the mother's blood through the placenta. Okay. Next question 27th is very easy. The diagram shows female reproductive system. We have to label uterus. You can see this is C, which is the uterus. D is cervix, A is ovary, and B is ovida. Coming to the next question, question number 28. Which method can transmit HIV? So HIV stands for human immunovirus, that causes AIDS. So hugging a person does not transmit the disease because AIDS is transmitted or HIV is transmitted when there are fluids in contact. Sharing a needle with a person infected with HIV, yes, this can bring the fluids in contact. So this is of course present. Using a plate that a person infected with HIV has used. No, this also will not transmit the HIV virus. So the answer will be D. Next is, which chromosome can be found in a single sperm? So you know that the sperm is haploid. Single sperm will carry either X or Y because male carries X or Y chromosome. Why are lymphocytes the only cells that produce antibody proteins? So, all the cells have all genes, but only some are switched on or expressed in them. So the genes for antibodies are only expressed in lymphocytes. Hence, the option D would be the best answer. Question number 31. During protein synthesis, what is the function of ribosome? So you know that protein synthesis takes place in the cytoplasm, and first, both the ribosomal subunits, they assemble, and the mRNA is placed on that, and there are codons on the mRNA which are read by the help of a tRNA. So here, ribosomes assemble amino acids into a chain. All the others are not matching to the function of the ribosomes during protein synthesis. Next is, now this is a question from genetics. Be very careful. The photograph shows a speckled chicken. Speckled chickens have white feathers and black feathers. Okay, so this phenomena, none of the characters are totally dominant. That means they show codominance. Okay, they show codominance. When a chicken with only white feathers and a chicken with only black feathers are crossed, the offsprings are speckled. That means they are codominant. What would be the expected phenotypic ratio of a speckled chicken was crossed with a chicken with only white feathers? Okay, so suppose you take codominance, that means you can denote it in this manner. Suppose capital W is for white and small w is for black. So when they are together, it is speckled, and you have to cross it with chicken with only white feathers. Okay, so how will be the Punnett square and what the answer will be? So here you make the Punnett square. So this is small y, okay, so this is white. So how have we denoted our alleles? Capital W stands for white and small w stands for a black. So let's make it more visible. So here the question says that if a speckled chicken, that means it is heterozygous and codominant, was crossed with a chicken with only white feathers. So white feathers means capital W and capital W. Make it clear. So you can make a Punnett square like this. This is capital W and small w. I'm writing it very small so that it is visible. Let's make the Punnett square. So this and this is going to be white. Again, this and this is white. Okay. This and this is speckled. This and this is speckled. Okay. So it will be 2:2. That means 1:1. So one white feathered and one speckled is going to be the answer. The answer is going to be C. Coming to the next question. The next question says, which is the 33rd, what are stem cells? You know that stem cells are unspecialized cells that divide by mitosis that produce daughter cells. So D is the correct answer. A, you will see meiosis is given, completely wrong. Now, second one is wrong, that it says specialized cells that divide by mitosis to produce daughter cells. What is wrong with this? They are saying specialized. This is wrong. They are unspecialized. That means they have not taken any form. Third is also wrong because here they have given it, they divide by meiosis. Coming to the next question, 44th. What are the features of hydrophytes? Now, you know that hydrophytes are plants that stay in water. So hydrophytes are plants that stay in water and they have leaves that float. So they do not have a long root system because they are already in water. They have many stomata on the upper surface. Yes, this makes sense. Hairy leaves? No. Hairy leaves is basically present on the xerophytes. Small air spaces? No, the air spaces are large to float. So the correct answer is B. 35th. Which unit could be used for the measurement needed to construct the pyramid of energy? So the pyramid of energy, there will always be energy per area, and the entire time. So the answer will be kg per meter square per year. Coming to the next question, which process needs microorganisms to break down protein to produce ammonium ions? So first, just highlight what the process is. So when plant and animal body decay, so plant and animal body, they are made up of protein. When they decompose, or when there is decomposition, ammonia is produced. And this is done by bacteria and fungi. A part of the nitrogen cycle, so the answer will be decomposition. Question number 37, the graph shows a part of the growth curve in a bacterial population, and they are asking you which is not in the graph. So you can see a lag phase is given, a log is there, a stationary is there, and there is no decline. So the answer is there is no decline or death phase. This one was quite direct. So some questions are quite direct, while some are little confusing. But if you've read your text thoroughly and practiced, I don't think so there should be a problem. What is the advantage of large-scale monoculture? Means same kind of crops. Same kind of crops will get total attention, same kind of needs. It will be easy to manage them. So they will really, result in increased crop yield. So I think the last chapter, ecosystem and environment, is equally important. Now coming to the 39th question, you see there is a graph over here that shows the year plotted on the x-axis and emissions of carbon dioxide and methane from the year 1990 to 2015. So what do we find out? A student makes 4 statements about carbon dioxide and methane. Now in these 4 statements, you have to select how many statements are supported by this data given. So you need to go by this data given. The first says carbon dioxide and methane were the only sources of greenhouse gases produced in 1990. Now this is very confusing. If you read it directly, you will say that this is wrong. Okay, but yes, this is wrong. Of course, this is wrong. You know why? Because while it says that carbon dioxide and methane were the 2 sources, but it does not say they were the only greenhouse gases. This is little contradictory. They do not say they are not the only greenhouse gases. There could be other gases also. But here they have only shown methane and carbon dioxide. So there are other gases also which could show greenhouse effect. Second one, carbon dioxide emissions continue to rise to the present day. Okay, now this graph only is till 2015. It is not telling you anything beyond that. So you cannot say anything about the present day. So this is also in a way wrong. Third says carbon dioxide has greater effect on climate change than methane. You cannot tell by just the concentration. What damage methane does, what damage carbon dioxide done cannot be said by the data. So this is also wrong. Last one says methane emissions were lower than carbon dioxide emissions between 1990 and 2015. So they are just here rightly saying about what they have depicted in the data. That means 1990 to 2015, methane emissions were always less. And this seems to be true if you see this graph. So I think this statement is correct. So here, how many statements are supported by the data? Accurately, 1 is correct. So the answer is 1. And the last one is very, very simple. So the last question being so simple is so unusual. But that's okay. Sometimes in life, things are very simple. You just need to have your cool mind and read every question carefully how it comes. The diagram shows a bacterium which structure is cut from the sticky ends during genetic modification. So you know that plasmids are used in genetic engineering. So plasmids are used in genetic engineering. Okay, so they are used in genetic modification, and in this process they are cut open, foreign gene is inserted and ligated. So the correct answer is going to be C. So with this we end all the 40 important MCQs of Oct October-November 2025, transcript number 22. I hope this was useful, and just stay connected. We are going to post more videos related to IGCSE important concepts. Thank you so much and stay tuned.